Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 tutorial. So today we're going to be sharing with you my tips, my tricks, and just a great guide in general on how to stop losing possession and how to really improving, how to get better at possession, how to play with high possession. Also a really good passing tutorial as well. It's kind of all rolled into one, and we're going to be showing you everything you need to know in this video. Now for me, this is how I love to play FIFA. This is how I personally try and play FIFA regardless of meta. I love playing this style of FIFA. I think it's very realistic, and at the moment, because there isn't really an established meta at the moment, you can play this way, and I find it is extremely effective to play this way. Now without further ado, going in straight into it, going into the first tip on how you can become great at possession, is to always go short from free kicks and goal kicks. So whenever you get in positions like this, always bring your players in, always call them short, because you're always going to have a pass on. You're always then going to be able to play out from the back. The only time you shouldn't do this is if somebody is playing like high pressure or constant pressure and every player is marked. You know, sometimes you take a goal kick and everybody's marked and you feel like you can't pass it anywhere. In those cases, yeah, knock it long. But if people aren't playing a press, if people aren't doing that, then make sure you go short all the time. Don't give up cheap possession. Don't turn over the ball really easily. You can see how from all of these options, we're taking it short from the goal kicks, and we're able to just pass the ball around, and we're able to just maintain possession and maintain our attacks and work our way up the field slowly. You don't want to be giving away the ball really easily, giving the ball back to your opponent, and especially if you're someone who's not a very good defender or just not very good with the ball, you don't want to be giving away sort of cheap possession and then giving your opponent sort of free attacks by just punting the ball upfield and then the ball just coming back immediately, because that's often how you will concede goals, because you're constantly under pressure, you constantly keep giving the ball away, and then your opponent's just able to get constant pressure on you, and then eventually they're gonna make you pay, and they're gonna score. So you can see in all these examples, we're able to really move the ball up the field. This example, we moved all the way from the back all the way up to the front, managed to get the corner, and then Dybala plays it into Richarlison, who smashed it into the net. So we're able to create some great chances as well from going short in all these opportunities. So it's definitely something you need to do straight away. Now, the second tip that we do have for you today is to recycle the play and utilize the switch of play to the fullbacks. Now, this is something that's really important and something that you need to do. You need to remember that you don't always need to pass the ball forwards, and this is really important. You can see how we're just maintaining possession. We're making our opponent come to us and make mistakes. Now, you can see this is a prime example of something I see a lot of people would do. A lot of people would try and drill this ball into Pepe. You can see Pepe's got his arm up, running into the space. A lot of people would try and drill that straight into him, and I can tell you, the defender that's just in front will intercept that ball all the time. Pepe won't get the ball. So the smart thing to do is just play the ball backwards. You don't always need to play the ball forwards. And you can see that when we do actually play the ball backwards to, I think it's in Ndombele, we then actually play a really poor pass into Richarlison, a really risky pass, and we get away with it. And that's something that you need to not do as well. Don't try and force those passes like we did there. We got really lucky. We got away with it there. We managed to eventually score the goal, but that's something you need to not do, because I see that a lot, and I think a lot of people do that. They try and force the ball into their striker there. They'll lose possession and then maybe get countered, and then they concede, and they think, oh, what, why have I conceded? And it's because you're trying to force the ball. And you can see in a lot of these examples, we're not afraid to pass the ball backwards, and people might think this is boring. This not. It's just very smart. It's why try and force the ball? Why try and give up cheap possession? You can see if there's no space, there's no obvious pass on, I've got no problem with going back. You can see we're all the way in the box there with Richarlison, and then we can make it all the way back to Gomez in defence, and then we're just able to play it on the wing. Again, there's no obvious pass. He's doing a good job, our opponent, of covering the passing lanes, but we're keeping the ball in the final third, and the key is we're keeping him pinned into his defense. He's not able to get out because we've got so much of the ball. The way I'm trying to play it, the way I'm trying to explain it is it's a bit like how Manchester City play. Now, Manchester City obviously have loads of possession, but when they lose possession, they lose it in your third, so you're not able to get out. They press you really well, they get possession, and they trap you. They keep you trapped in your final third, and that's the way that playing like this really does. So making sure you're also switching the ball out to your fullbacks, they play a massive role in this. If you're someone who likes to play with your fullbacks on stay back while attacking, you will struggle, because your fullbacks, and you see how high up the pitch our fullbacks are, and they're a massive part of playing possession, because it just gives you an extra body forwards. And that's another reason, and another little secret tip on how we're able to keep our opponents pinned in, because we play with our fullbacks unbalanced. It's just an extra player up the pitch. They link up really well with our wide players, and it just allows us to maintain those attacks and switch the ball out and give us more options to score goals. Now, the third tip that we do have is not really a tip, but it's more just the style. It's just kind of more building on top of the play style, and it's more possession will equal less chances. Now, the theory behind this, if you're someone who is not a very good defender, now for me, of my game, whether it be passing or possession or attacking or skills or whatever it may be, defending is probably the thing I'm worst at. I'm not a bad player, I would probably say that I'm an elite 2 level player, but my defending is the weakest area of my game. So the way that I'm able to kind of hide the fact that maybe I'm not the best defender is the fact that I have so much possession. Now, having so much possession means that you're going to be defending less chances from your opposition. So they're going to get less chances to score, and there's going to be less opportunity for them to exploit maybe your potential weaknesses with defending. So if you're someone who is struggling with defending and you're just not very naturally a very good defender, the more possession that you can have, the less chances you'll create. You can see with a lot of these examples, because we are suffocating our opponent by having so much possession, you can see how they're rushing their attacks. They're just trying to force every ball forwards. They're trying to rush forwards as fast as possible. And the panicking comes from the mentality of, oh my God, this guy has so much possession. He's got 60, 65, 70% of the ball. If when I eventually do get the ball, I can't afford to lose it because he's just going to haul the ball again. He's just going to have so much possession. And you can see how when my opponents are trying to rush forwards, it's giving us possession back immediately. You see taking little pop shots there from 25 yards with Tony. I don't mind if he's going to do that because it then allows us to then get that counter attack there with Dybala. We're now 2-on-1. Dybala's confident and he smashes it into the near post. So from my opponent being really impatient and having a smash shot from 25 yards with Tony, it's then resulted in us having a chance. So your opponents are getting frustrated because you have so much possession, and all the clips here really speak for themselves. You can see how we're getting our players into really good positions here. We're reading the passing lanes. We're getting a bit unlucky. The ball keeps falling back to him, but again, you just keep playing. You just keep getting your players in the position, and eventually one of them sticks, and then it does, and then that sets us away on another counter attack. But it all comes from, again, our opponent is trying to rush his passes because we have so much possession. So we're forcing our opponents to make mistakes. You can see all they're doing is they're just getting back to front. They're just smashing it forward, smashing it forward. He's really easy to predict in here because all he's doing is just holding the sprint button down, and then Ruben Dias is able to then make the tackle. So making sure you have more of the ball will cover the fact that maybe you're not such a good defender, and it's going to allow you more opportunities to score and less opportunities to defend because your opponent is going to have less chances. So make sure you do use that. Even though your opponent is going to have some possession, because you're having so much, you're just going to have to be able to defend 3 or 4 counter-attacks. And you'll see right at the end of the video how our stats stack up and how they look. But we're able to have so much possession, which is going to allow us to create so many chances. Now, when it comes to passing, what buttons should you press? Now, when you are looking at playing a dangerous pass, you should be looking at playing the double tap A and the double tap X, and also the double tap through ball. Now, the reason why is because when the play becomes quite crowded, and especially when there's a defender that's right in front of you, there's a good chance that he's going to intercept it. So to get around him being able to intercept it, you need to play the lofted passes and the lofted through balls, because it's going to lift the ball over the defender's foot. You can see a great example there from Suarez, lifts it over to the striker. So when you're playing those sort of dangerous passes into a striker, when there's potential for it to be intercepted, you need to make sure you're playing those lifted passes, because the chance then of him intercepting it is now 0, because the way the game and the mechanics and the animation works, when you lift it over a defender's leg, there's no chance for him to intercept it. You need to make sure you're doing that when you're making those dangerous passes. And finally, you can just see at the end how much possession that we were able to have. In this game here, we had 63% of the ball. We managed to get the 3-0 win, but still was able to create 12 shots. Was able to just dominate the game, and our opponent only had 4 shots. And you can see where our possession is. Most of it is in the final third. None of it is really. It's not like we're just having it, with our centre backs. We're able to do that Manchester City style technique. We're able to really pin our defenders in. Now, tactics and instructions don't really play much of a threat in this. You don't really need to worry about what your tactics and instructions are. It's not really too important. It's more about the way you play and the way you play on the pitch rather than your tactics and instructions. As long as you're not set up like super offensive, if you're just kind of standard, balanced width and things like that, as long as you're not anything too extreme, it doesn't really matter too much. Again, this game, 72% possession. And again, most of it is in the final third. Most of it, you can see by the darker shades, the darker patches, most of it's just pinning our opponent in and just able to really dominate the game and just really suffocate our opponent into making a mistake, whether that be pulling a defender out of position and just leaving us and just having a really good opportunity. You can see again, pass accuracy is more the same. It's all sort of around 92, 93%. So there's some really key things that you need to focus on. But if you're able to master this, you will definitely dominate in this game, because passing in possession seems to be really, really powerful in this game. And the better you can be at it, the better player you'll be, the more chances you'll make, the more goals you'll score, the less you'll concede, and just the better you'll become as a player. So make sure you do try and master these tips. Take these away. Let me know how they go for you in the comment section. If you do enjoy the content, do drop a thumbs up. Make sure you do subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. If there's any other tutorials or videos you'd like us to make, do let us know in the comment section down below. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.